Hi guys, what I've got for you today is a bit of a tutorial. If you've seen my recent videos, you'll know I've been doing a bit of sculpting, and I just wanted to show you guys the theory behind making a half decent looking face out of green stuff. Now what I've got here is my toothpick that I use for the sculpting, and a blob of blu-tack, which is a lot larger than the blobs I would be using to make the faces, but for demonstration purposes this will give you guys a good view, hopefully, of what's going on. So just to give you an idea how much larger this is, there's a guardsman, and yeah, obviously this is probably about the size of his whole body, but yeah. So what I want to do, guys, this isn't going to be a masterpiece. This is just going to be a quick show and tell, I guess. I'll work on it and talk a bit as I'm going. But yeah, you want to start off with a roughly spherical blob, and then to get your sort of head shape, what you want to do is get sort of one side of it, get the angle right for the camera, one side of it between finger and thumb, and just squeeze it out a bit, and then just kind of tease it into this roughly triangle shape. Well, I guess it's an egg shape. If you look at it that way, it's an egg shape. And of course what that does is it gives you on this side the jaw, and on this side the forehead. Now, after you've done that, you want to just flatten out what would be the face a little bit. Pull out the jaw a little bit more flattened. Okay, so we have here now from this angle, obviously it doesn't look like much from this angle, but this way what we have is roughly what will be the face. Just flatten that jaw a little bit more. Okay, I won't get too picky with this because I'm just showing you guys roughly what's going on. Now what you need is the toothpick. Won't be using the pointy end for this, I'm going to use the broken end because this is obviously quite a lot larger. Now with the face sort of facing you want the toothpick to go 90 degrees horizontal. When you press this in, you want to keep just off center, so it's just to the side of center, and when you push that in, you want to go in slightly deeper towards the middle, and then what you want to do is turn it roughly 45 degrees, and then press it in again. So once horizontal, once 45 degrees down. I'll just turn this over to do the other side. So again, you want to keep just off center, push it in, turn it 45 degrees, and push it in again. Now what that does, if I can get the light, what that does is it gives you the brow, the bridge of the nose, and the start of the cheekbones. Then of course the mouth is just going to be roughly there, so you just want to make a gentle indentation there just to give you a guide as to where the mouth is going to be, and the cheekbones, to emphasize those some more, I'm going to take your pick and from the mouth gently push in and up, gently in and up, and I'll do that on the other side as well, upside down. Okay, so what that does is that helps define the cheekbones. Now the nose obviously still needs some more form to it, so on the forehead all I do is just roll the toothpick down a few times just to flatten off the front of the forehead, and what that does is it pushes the brow down, closes up these eye sockets a bit, gives a bit of definition to where the eyebrows are going to go, and it also pushes the bridge of the nose out slightly. And then with the toothpick, just between the eyes, from the brow down, just gently press in there, and that'll give definition between the two eyebrows and also emphasize the bridge of the nose some more. If you go back to where you marked for the mouth and just gently touch there and push in and up with that, again it helps to draw out this part of the putty, whatever that you're using. And then after that, where the cheekbones are, you don't want to push in here, you just want to push in towards the centre slightly, towards the nose, and that'll help define the nose. We do that on both sides. Gently pushed in, and quite a lot of working with putty and sculpting is just sort of teasing things and pushing the putty around and getting it into the position that you want it. So yeah, once you've pushed that into place, as you can see, I'll see if I can catch the light on it, it's looking a bit like a skull, but yeah, that's kind of what you want at the minute, because you're just working on the overall structure before you go back and start sort of manipulating some detail into it. Again, like I say, a lot of it is just sort of gentle manipulation. I tend to roll, sort of with the toothpick in my fingers, I tend to roll it between my fingers and just roll it over the surface of the putty that I'm working on. It gives me quite a lot of control over the amount of pressure that I'm putting on as well, which is quite handy. Because obviously with faces there's not a lot of jagged, sharp edges. Okay, so back to the mouth area. To give the jawline a bit more definition, look at it and judge roughly where you want the chin to come down to, and then push up into it and then roll it back. Okay, so as you can see now, this is starting to take fairly good shape. The mouth, I'm going to use the pointy end for this bit. Literally all I'm going to do here is just push the pointy end in the middle, and then push out to the side, and push out to the other side. Just as you can see, it's just the hole. Just teasing out a hole in the middle there. As I say, I'm not going to be making a huge amount of detail on this face. But yeah, just to give him a mouth, see that, and then to give the bottom lip definition from the chin, just push in a little bit. One of the reasons I use a toothpick is because the pointy end has this gradient between it and the rest of the stick, which means I can get pretty much any kind of, I can get a sharp indentation with the pointy end, or I can use whichever part of this end to get various sort of indentations to make it look more natural. But yeah, just to give a bit more definition to here, I'm going to press this in, this here, using the pointy end on this part of the face, either side of the nose down to the mouth, just pushing in there and pushing in there, what that does is gives more definition to the cheekbones and more definition to the nose as well, which on this piece of blu-tack is looking quite quite scrappy. I'll just tidy that up a little bit. Just tidy up the draw a little bit, smooth out some of those harsher lines. Bring this draw out a little bit more. Again, you see here I'm just placing it down and then twisting in my fingers and rolling the toothpick across the surface and just gently pushing, gently manipulating it into place. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. As you can see, it's a relatively good face. But I'm not going to show the ears on this because that would be, I think, too much detail for this camera to pick up decently. What I will do though is just quickly show the eyes, how I do the eyes. Again, using the pointy end, just press in fairly deep, make a little depression inside the eye socket there, and do the same the other side. Okay, and what I'll do now is pinch a bit of blu-tack off the back of his neck, actually, I think. Squashed his head a bit doing that, and just press him back into shape there. Okay, with this little piece that I've taken off, just roll it out into a bit of a sausage, and then pick off two tiny little pieces. Get off my fingers. Just a second. Okay. Oh, you mixed the two together there. Okay, so as you can see between the fingers there, if you can see it, tiny little piece, and then just want to drop that into the eye socket that you've just made the depression, if that shows up there, and then again with the pointy end of the stick, just sort of gently tease and push that into place there. Try and keep the form a little bit, because obviously you're making the shape of the eyeball with this. I'll stop with that there. As you can see, that's quite a bit larger than the other piece. Just drop that one in there. That's a much better sized piece. Just gently push that into place there. Yeah, that's much better, that piece. So yeah, ignore that eye. Just look at this one here. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is basically the theory of how I go about getting a pretty decent looking face out of putty. So yeah, I hope this has given you guys a bit of direction if you're struggling with things like sculpting faces. I certainly had a lot of trouble when I first started, and I've still got a long way to go as well. But so far, this seems to be working pretty well for me, and yeah, all I need to get these kind of results are a toothpick and some putty. So I wish you all the best of luck if you guys are going to have a go at this, and look forward to seeing some of the results maybe. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.